I'm back with another video, and this time we're going to be doing a head-to-head comparison of the Kindle Oasis 3 versus the Kindle Paperwhite Signature Edition. And I'll go over the differences, similarities, quality, value, prices, and kind of give you a recommendation of which one I think would be best for you, and you'll have all the information to make a decision. So let's start with the build quality and what these things are made out of. So this is the Oasis 3. It's kind of a premium feel here, and it's made out of aluminum, and it does have a glass screen, whereas the Paperwhite is plastic. It's kind of like a rubberized plastic, but it does get the smudges real easy. It doesn't get fingerprints, but any kind of oil or anything on there gets on there very easily. And it also has a plastic front, which might be a little less durable than the Oasis. The Oasis also has this classic tapered back here, or the asymmetric design, where it's very thin on this side and gives you a little grip on this side if you want to hold it like that, which works pretty well. It's not quite that much of a grip, so holding it for a long time might be a little uncomfortable, but if you had a case or something, sometimes it accentuates that bezel a little bit and it gives you even a better grip. Both are fairly light, no issues holding them for a while. The Signature Edition has, both have the chargers on the bottom. Okay, but the Signature Edition has a USB-C, which is a definite upgrade over the Kindle Oasis, which has the micro USB, which is still kind of crazy. This came out in 2019, and back then it was dated, so now it's, super dated. The Paperwhite does have a power button on the bottom, which is not the most convenient. If you're holding it right there, it's easily kind of to hit it with your finger. The Kindle has the button on the top, which I thought would be a much better position. The Oasis also has the page turners, which is the only Kindle that has any kind of buttons on it now, any of the recent Kindles. It just makes it much easier to, while you're reading it, just kind of, you don't have to take your other hand and tap it or anything like that, or you don't have to reach around and hit it with your, your thumb. Having the buttons is just really great there. The Paperwhite Signature Edition gets a 6.8-inch screen, which is a bump up from the previous 6-inch. I'll just show you what the difference is here. This is an older Kindle, and this is a 6-inch screen. You can see here much bigger real estate on there. And then this is I'll try to get them all on the screen here. This is the Oasis, and you can see this is a 7-inch screen, which is really nice. And again, it's bigger than the 6-inch, and you can see the bezels are much smaller than the older Kindles. This screen, like I said, has a plastic cover on it. This one does have a glass cover, so it should be a little more durable. So the Signature Edition does have a new e-ink display, which is supposed to give increased page turn speed by 25% and increased performance by 30%. And it's supposed to be more efficient, so the battery is supposed to last longer. The performance enhancements and things like that, I think you'd be hard-pressed to tell any difference. I'll try to demonstrate it later and see if you could see any difference. But if you didn't have them side by side, you wouldn't be able to tell anything at all. And I mean, it's a Kindle, so as long as it turns the page, it should be fine. The Oasis has 25 LED lights. The Signature Edition has 17. Both of these have the warm lights on them, half of the warm lights and half of them are the cool bluish lights. Both of them have auto dimness, which doesn't affect the warmth of it. It just affects the brightness of it, and you could toggle that on and off. And you could also schedule the warmness of the light. So at the end of the night, you could have it scheduled that after sunset or something like that. It automatically gets a warmer reddish tint to it, and it looks more like a regular paperback. So I'm going to try to hit these buttons at the same time, so you can see how quickly they turn on and off. This one's going to have an advertisement screen, so it's not a 100% good test here, but there we go. So just about the same. And then, like I said, this had the ad, so now you got to swipe through that. But also you can see here, same software, same screen and everything like that. Everything else on the inside should be exactly the same. Okay, so let me just show you the displays on these. So this is the Kindle Oasis 3 over here, and this is the Kindle Paperwhite Signature Edition. This is with no backlight, basically. So let me just show you here the difference. And this is how the settings work. It's the same on both of them, but the brightness is on top, and then you have the warmth on the bottom here. Then you could also click on auto brightness if you'd like, and then you could also schedule this if you want. So with the schedule, at the end of the day, you can make it so it turns on automatically to the warm lights instead of the cool lights. The brightness you still have to adjust yourself. But if you want to do the scheduling, just hit that arrow, And then here you could have it, the warm schedule, we could turn it on. So you could do the automatic with, it will change with your sunset and local sunrise to the warm lights. And then also you could do it manually and you could just set for the times. And then you could actually also change how warm or cool you want the lighting to be. So we'll just shut this off for now. And so let me just show you here. We could make this real bright. That's with the maximum brightness on those. And that would be on the cool lights. So you can just see the difference there. And then we could also do this with the maximum warmness of it. And then you could just see the difference there. You know, very similar. Honestly, I don't know how it's coming out on the video, but in regular life here, this looks exactly the same, basically. Maybe a slight different tinting, but really it looks very similar. Then if you wanted to do this like kind of in the middle here, then you notice the effect is not as much, obviously. But that would be just the regular reading there. The Paperwhite over here did get an upgraded processor. It did increase the RAM from 512 megabytes to 1 gigabyte. Again, I don't think you could really tell a difference between the you know, maybe going through the software is just a little different, a little quicker when you're searching for, if you have a lot of books on here, but I haven't really noticed much of a change between them. The increased processor does give you a slightly different page turn experience. So I have it set to about the same settings here, and I'm just going to tap both of them and you can see how the page turning goes. This one on the Signature Edition, it just kind of gradually pulls it across the side here, not like a flip of the page, but kind of trying to give that effect. So if I just hit this, you can just see how the difference is. And you can see even with this faster processor and more RAM on the the Signature Edition, it's basically the same speed on turning. I mean, there's nothing you would really notice. And again, this one has that little bit of an effect, so it kind of pulls it across there like that. But again, not a major difference. Now, of course, on the Kindle, you could have, we go into here, we could do the reading options, and we could have it refreshing every time you turn the page. So then you're going to get a lot more. And when we turn a page, you get a whole big kind of black, you know, eraser, and then the new page shows up there. So if you didn't like that, we just get rid of it, and then we go back to what we had before, which is the reading options. We shut this off. Then it's just a lot less, the change is not as noticeable. But of course, if you don't have it fully clear each time, you might get a little shadowing on it after you turn it a couple of pages. Then after you do this, you know, like 6 or 7 pages, then it does an automatic refresh anyway. So something that you do on the Signature Edition that you can't do on the Oasis is the page turning. So for that, you just hit the button here once, you click on that little font, then we got to go into More, and then we got to scroll down, and the page turn animation. So you could turn that on and off. So if you turn it on, you get that little kind of the page turns as it goes across like that I just showed you. And if you turn it off, then it would basically be the same thing as the Oasis and all the other Kindles. It just kind of the whole page just kind of refreshes like that. And then if you do the, let's go to settings here, we'll turn on that page refresh that we did on the Oasis, just so you can see it's the same here. Close that out. And now again, if you did that, if it refreshes every page, then you get that black reset, and then it turns into the new page. So same thing as the Oasis. So the only thing different on the Signature Edition Paperwhite is that you get that little page effect turn, which I demonstrated. If you love that, then you know you got to get the Signature Edition. But otherwise, there's not much of a difference when you turn the pages and the processing speed and things like that. It's very similar. Just wanted to show you that on a head-to-head comparison there. So let's talk battery. The battery on the Paperwhite is 1700 milliamp hours, and this one is only 1130. Right, that's on the Oasis. And the Oasis, I've never been happy with the battery life. I had an older Kindle before this, and the battery is much better on than this one. And I know that's been a common complaint about the Oasis. And even I had the Oasis 2. Like I said, I was never happy with the battery, and then the Oasis 3, the same thing. I did kind of time it out for a couple of times, and I got like 10, 12 hours of screen on time with it, and sometimes even less. And that's with the Wi-Fi off, and the auto brightness I usually have off, but it just goes through very quickly. And so anytime I go on any kind of trip or anything, I have to bring a micro USB charger with me, and kind of make a special effort to remember to bring that to charge this thing. So just something to keep in mind. The battery on this one, like I said, is not very good at all. This one is much better, has a much bigger battery, and the efficiency is much better. And using it for a little while now, this is much better battery than the Oasis, which is kind of what you really like about these things. You don't have to think about the battery. You just kind of pick it up, and it always has a charge. Let's just go over a couple of different features on these things. As I said, we got the page turn buttons on these, which I think most people like. I really like them. Again, it's just kind of much easier if you're having the, holding it, you're laying in bed and you have the Kindle over your head or something like that. You just have the one hand here, and you can just click these buttons and change it instead of having to use your other hand to hit the screen. I know, being very picky here, but that I just like the buttons. You can disengage them if you want. It also does have an auto rotate, so if you do this, and you want to have the buttons on the other side, you can do that, which is the only Kindle I think that has the auto rotate on it. The Paperwhite, the differences are it has wireless charging. That's the first Kindle to have that. It has the USB-C charger, which is wonderful. It has again the bigger battery, and the price includes no ads. So this one you'd have to pay $20 to get rid of the ads. This one, the price that's included in there, which is nice because then when you don't have the ads, when you shut off the device, then you get the cover of the book you're reading. I don't know, which is kind of cool. This one you would just get an ad, or you get kind of a Kindle advertisement or something like that. The software is exactly the same. So between them, they both are upgraded to the latest software. Like on this one, you just have to get through that edge. There's an extra step to get to your actual book. They both can be changed to landscape view. If all you need to do is go into here, we just have to hit these things, and then you just change the layout right here, and you change it into the orientation right there. You just switch it, and then it would be landscape like that. And this one doesn't have the auto rotate, so you have to go the way it wants you to go. Also, we're talking about security updates. So the Amazon policy is you get 4 years of security updates on these, and that's after the clock starts ticking, after the device is no longer available on the Amazon site, sold as new. So the Oasis 3 is still sold as new as the time of this video, and until they discontinue it or come out with an Oasis 4 or something like that, you still get the same 4 years of security updates on both of these. Likely, though, you're going to get it a little more on here because this just came out, and this will be selling, I'm sure, for another year or maybe two. So you get a lot of updates with that. The Kindle actual interface updates, those come out sporadically, and Amazon's very good with that. So the Kindle's going back all the way to like 2015, still get the newest update, so that you will be in the exact same experience on the interface and going through navigating for your books, and all the features that are on there, they'll be exactly the same. And the Kindle, like I said, so that goes back years to get the updates. You may not get the security updates, and you may not have the new interface updates, but both of these you should be good for several years with it. And this one just might be a little bit longer. So let's talk about price. The Oasis is definitely more expensive. The 8GB version is $249. The 32GB is $279, and that's with ads. So if you want to get rid of ads, you got to add $20 to that price. But during specials and on a Prime Day, I did see it for $179 for the 8GB model. So that's not too much more expensive than the other ones. The Signature Edition, this one is $189, and again, that's the 32GB. That's the only version that comes in. But on the Prime Day, I did see it down to $139. So in my opinion, the software is exactly the same. Like I said, Amazon goes back and updates these Kindles for a very long time. So let me just show you here. This is a 2015 Kindle. 2015, so that, long time ago. So let's go back to home here. Let me get this one here. So you can see both exactly the same interface, and same navigation and finding books. Everything will be exactly the same. And as they update, like I said, going back several years, Amazon updates the Kindle. So as long as the hardware can support it, they are very good about updating it. The software is the same, exactly the same. So basically, it's the hardware that really drives the difference in which Kindle might be best for you. This one does have the quicker processor, a little more internal memory and things like that, but as you see, really not much of a difference between page turning, and again, unless you have a lot of books that you navigate in between, if it takes an extra second or two for another Kindle to find the book that you're looking for as you're typing it in, not really a big difference. So I don't think the upgraded processor, it's nice, but it's not going to make a big difference for you. So let me just go over the, kind of summarize this here. So the pros of this thing, it has the page turn buttons, which is nice. The asymmetric design that, you know, maybe you like, maybe you don't, so you can grip it. It does have the more premium aluminum body. It does have the glass screen here. It does have more LEDs, which you really can't tell much of a difference between the two, but it is there. The cons are the obviously the micro USB charger, the worst battery life. Like I said, not very good at all on the battery life on this one. It's definitely more expensive, and it might be discontinued soon, or they might be coming out with an Oasis 4, which would definitely make, either way, this would be less expensive, so that might be something for you to look into. And if the Oasis 4 comes out with the USB-C charging and a couple other features and maybe a bigger screen, then that might be something that you want to decide upon before you start making the decision to buy this one. For the Paperwhite, this is the Paperwhite Signature Edition again. The pros, again, the USB-C charger, which is great. The wireless charging, it might be a pro. You'd have to line it up right. They do have, Amazon does sell a stand that you can put with the Kindle there, but I don't know if that's really all that beneficial for you. But if you like the wireless charging, it's available. Definitely much better battery life on this one. Less expensive than the Oasis for sure. And there's probably also going to be a lot more case options with this, because this is the same exact size as the Paperwhite. And both of these came out in 2021, and they sell a lot of these. Amazon sells a lot of the Paperwhites, and this not so much in the Signature Edition, but since so many Paperwhites get sold, all the case manufacturers make cases for them, and this is the same exact dimensions as the Paperwhite. So you probably have some more options with the different kinds of cases that you might want to get. It does have the faster processor, more RAM, again, likely a little difference for the end user, but the price of this does include no ads, which is a nice feature. The cons, the power button on the bottom, that might be a turn off for some people, but not a major issue. The slightly less LEDs than the Oasis, but again, not a big difference, and no buttons on here. If you really need to have those page turning buttons, then you want to get the Oasis. So let's discuss it a little further. The Oasis and the Signature Edition are both splurgers. They're definitely over and above the regular Paperwhite, which is probably best for most people. The regular Paperwhite will give everything you need there. It does come in 8 and 16 gigabytes. It does have the USB-C charger like this one has. The Paperwhite Signature Edition does have a couple advantages over the regular Paperwhite, which are the no ads on here, included in the price, the wireless charging, and the auto dimness on here, the auto brightness detector, which, if that's something you really want to use, then you want to get this one. But there's not much of a difference between the regular Paperwhite, and this is definitely a little bit of a splurge. The Oasis is a much bigger splurge. It's nicer if you can afford it. I mean, I love the Oasis. I use it all the time, and the Paperwhite Signature Edition has been great, and the biggest feature I like about this is the bigger battery. So I don't really have to worry about charging it. If you can get an Oasis, if they do discontinue this, or if the Oasis 4 comes out and you don't need the Oasis 4 features, this should come down in price. And then, if you can grab it for a good deal, I would say get the Oasis. The Signature Edition, again, is a splurge. Probably not needed, but if you like the features on this one, again, wait for a discount on this. Amazon Prime Day, they do have features. They do have a lot of sales on Amazon for this, so just be mindful of when the sale comes out. The other thing I'll just tell you about is a lot of people debate about, do you need a screen protector on these? Well, these are the e-ink displays are all plastic, so this one has a glass overlay on it, but basically they're plastic, so it's not really a concern like you would have with your phone, like dropping it and it's shattering or anything like that. The bigger concern with these is that it is kind of a delicate screen, so if you kind of gouge it, or if you put it in a bag or something like that, and the keys rub against here or something, and you have a gouge on your screen, then obviously every time you're reading, you're going to have a little defect, and the print's going to look terrible right in that spot. So that would be the cause for concern, is more gouging and scratching on these. So if you just have some sort of cover on these that you can, when you're traveling or when you're going somewhere, you can close it and just keep it protected, that's probably all you need. If you do put a screen protector on here, sometimes it does mess up with the screen print a little bit. But, you can always do it and take it off if you don't like it. But technically, you shouldn't need these. Just make sure you have some sort of case that covers this, or a sleeve you put these in when you're done reading them. And that will give you the protection that you need. As usual, if you stayed this long, please subscribe and turn on notifications. I'll come out with more videos on this, and, more long-term reviews. So possibly in the future I might go over Kindle software tips and tricks kind of thing. Most of it is self-explanatory, but there are some features and tips that you may not know about, or maybe don't have the time to dig through all the menus and find out things. So I might go over that. So like I said, hit subscribe and turn on the notifications, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks so much.